Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
This is my boomstick.
Here's Johnny.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Righteous! Righteous! Yeah!
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Houston, we have a problem.
The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Those Film Nerds podcast. My name is Will Spalding, and as always, I'm joined by the ever so talented Sam Dierberger. Sam, how's it going?
It's going all right. How are you, Will?
I'm fantastic. I'm doing well.
I am ever so talented, no matter what. I'm always doing okay.
In all facets too, not just podcasting.
Yes, in every single facet of my life, I'm doing very solid. Life continues to march on. We continue to respond with talent and grace and clarity.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So yeah, what's new with you, Will?
We talked about it off air, but we started classes again, man, and it feels so great. I was telling some friends this week. I'm like, I don't think I've been in a classroom. I don't know about. I can't speak for you. It's like I think I've been in a classroom learning since March of 2019. It's currently late August of 2021, so it's been a year and a half.
Yep.
And it was it's a great return to form. It's funny how much you don't think about. You always think when you're in school, you're like, man, I'd rather be anywhere but this place. And then when you're out of it, I'm thinking, gosh, it'd be nice to be back there. So it's good. It's good to be back.
Yeah, you run into people and you're like, wow.
You have to have social interaction.
I'm not regulated to the people that are in my immediate vicinity anymore. Like, I'm meeting strangers again. It's very strange.
It's very odd. Yeah, exactly. It's very
I'm
odd.
almost not equipped for it. But
we can only hope for another pandemic then, Sam.
well, oh yeah. I mean, I'm just waiting for it to happen. I'm looking at those Delta variant numbers. I'm like, yes.
Going.
In a strange way, though, there are a number of people who are probably too well adjusted to pandemic living, and it's quite disturbing to me. Those people are insane. Those are the kinds of people who don't deserve to live outside of their house. So,
Right. Absolutely.
But yeah, we are doing something a little different today. I mean, it's been another slow film week, I suppose. And that means we're delving back into our Best Picture retrospective. And this week we will be talking about Shape of Water.
Mute, sir. She can hear you.
You clean that lab and get out.
This may very well be the most sensitive asset ever to be housed in this facility.
Yeah, the Shape of Water this week, Sam. We're continuing our Best Picture retrospective after we did Green Book maybe I don't know, was it a month ago or so? Yeah, it's good to be back, and we were talking off air. We're excited for the next few as well. Whenever we get to those.
Yeah, well, no, we're excited about the next few. Because we're not excited about this one, but
speak for yourself, Sam, please.
Okay. Speaking for myself, I'm not excited about this one, but we have to stay consistent with our show schedule. We're trying to pump out an episode every week, despite our busy schedules running an international corporation.
Yeah,
and so we're talking about Shape of Water this week. Even if we're not excited about it. Did you have any pieces of industry news to get into first, though?
One real quick. So Sam, are you aware of a franchise called The Matrix?
Never heard of it.
Okay. This late 90s, early 2000s franchise, directed by the Wachowskis. Anyway, we have a title for number 4 coming out later this year, Sam.
Nice.
So we have 1999's The Matrix, 2003's The Matrix Reloaded, 2003's The Matrix Revolutions. And what word are you guessing, Sam? Do you know it already?
I haven't heard.
It's got it. So we have Reloaded, Revolutions. So some RE words. Any guesses?
The Matrix.
Reincarnated, maybe?
Resolved.
Resolved. That could be. We have The Matrix Resurrections.
Oh God.
Sam, do you have any? Do you care about The Matrix at all? I think you've seen the first one. Have you seen the other two?
I haven't seen the other two. I really have no interest. I think yeah, it's just the aesthetic for me. I think it's a fascinating concept. I think it's a genius concept. I think it's something that's damn near impossible to write, but my goodness, it looks so aged. I mean, it looked good at the time. I'm sure in 1999, you're sitting in a theater and you'd be pretty blown away by those special effects. But the color grading and the look of the movie and the way the characters interact with each other and the leather suits, the shape of the eyewear, the sunglasses, I'm just like, it's just too much for me. I'm just not interested. It's so off-putting for whatever reason. So that's why I could never really get into the Matrix as much as possible. I have watched a lot of videos on how it works and kind of a synopsis of the entire franchise as a whole, because I'm fascinated by it from a writing perspective, but I really never got into the movies.
Sure.
What do you make of this? Number 4, Resurrections.
So I have a really funny thing with how should I word this? With franchises that began nearly 20 years ago and then go back to the well.
Yep.
So obviously it's been 18 years since since the third installment. As we're entering the fourth entry in this franchise, I kind of feel the same way about any franchise that does this. It's either a total cash grab, or there's oddly a good script involved. If that makes sense. It's one of the two. It's either, hey, we just want money, so just give us money, and you know what, that's fine. These studios, they got shareholders and they need their money. So or the other side is like somebody wrote a script. I'm assuming the Wachowskis wrote it, so I'm sure it's going to be terrible because they don't know how to make a movie anymore. But every once in a while you get a sequel that comes out lots of years later, and it kind of rocks because somebody's had a long time to work on the script. I think this one's probably not the latter. It's probably the former. The cash grab. I don't think this will be great. But I hope to be surprised. The one other positive thing for me is that Keanu Reeves is really peaking. I don't think Keanu just signs on to a really crappy movie. I don't think he wants to do crappy movies. So we'll see.
I don't think any actor does, but I mean,
that's also true.
Money talks.
Money does.
It's tough. It's really tough. Like you say, it's hard to say. There's other franchises like this. If there was a 4th Indiana Jones film, and I'm not saying there is, but I'm saying if there was, they would probably make it like, I don't know, 20 some years after the third one.
Right.
And there'd be a significant gap there, and maybe it wouldn't be up to par. Maybe it wouldn't be up to the standards of the original trilogy. And that can always be a problem. And with the thing like The Matrix, I mean, 1999 doesn't seem like that long ago in my book. In my book, I feel like it should be about 2005, because 2021 does not sound like a real year. But 1999 was 22 years ago. 22 years ago.
Yeah,
that is a long time. And when you have franchises that last that long, when there's that much aging involved in some of the actors, that can be a problem. Just not just logistically, but also you kind of lose the artistic thread of what you were going for when you set out to make this trilogy. And then it becomes a question of, okay, are you trying to tell a story that needs to be told in multiple parts, or are you just trying to expand this universe for the sake of profit? And this is probably the latter.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. That comes out at around Christmas of 2021. So I guess won't have to wait too long. I have one more thing, Sam, unless you have anything else.
I got a couple of things that are worth hitting on, but
go for it. Mine's pretty big. So
the first thing, which I find sort of fascinating, Kristen Stewart is playing Princess Diana.
Yeah.
Pablo Larraín's Spencer trailer.
That poster kind of rocks. The
poster rock. Oh my god, she looks just like her.
Yeah,
it's kind of wild.
Yeah, this movie could be great.
It could be really good. It could be really, really good. And I think that's a good looking poster. It's a fascinating story that has taken much too long to adapt to the screen. With all the cultural fascination with Princess Diana, it's surprising that this hasn't happened sooner.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So I just thought that's worth mentioning. I'm kind of looking forward to this project.
Yeah, I think Kristen Stewart's a great choice too. I mean, she kind of gets thrown under the bus a lot for Twilight, and maybe she should, but those movies aren't good, and no matter who's acting in them, they'd still be bad. So
yeah,
I think she's a fair actress. With given a good script, I think she could be really good. And I think this movie could be really good. So I'm excited for this. I'm not gonna get in the streets and tell people to go see it until I see it, because I'm not 100% confident in it. But
sure.
Yeah, it could be really good.
Now I'm with you there, man. And then the other thing I wanted to mention was, I feel like this is fascinating. So Samantha Morton, who, I really only know from Synecdoche, New York. I haven't seen her in many other things. She joins the cast of this upcoming drama film called She Said, which chronicles the work to report on the initial story about the Harvey Weinstein scandal. And to me, it's a very interesting move that Harvey Weinstein, this facet of Hollywood for many, many years, who was taken down for his conduct, that a movie is now being made about this entire phenomenon, which is an exclusively Hollywood story. It's Hollywood that bred the monster that is Harvey Weinstein, and now a Hollywood movie is being made about it. I think it's so ambitious, and I hope it works out.
This I didn't even know this was a thing until you just broke it to me, and this sounds awesome. I mean, I'm all about scandals. So give me more scandal content.
I'm all about scandals.
Yeah. Scandals and crises. Give me more, all of that kind of content. It's all great. So This is awesome.
I don't think Harvey Weinstein has been cast yet. Who would you have playing Harvey Weinstein?
I don't see a cast listed either.
We have Carey Mulligan and Zoe Kazan involved.
Who could play Harvey Weinstein? I'm trying to think. I'm never good at this kind of thing. I like my casting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to think about that one.
You know, John Goodman, before he lost the weight, could pull it off.
Yeah. He looks great, by the way. I don't know.
He now looks really good. He's
Yeah.
kind of unrecognizable. So
Well, hey, I got one more little bit of news, and we can get into The Shape of Water.
yeah, let's talk about it.
Sam, I'm not sure if you're aware, but there's a new Spider-Man movie coming out, and the trailer dropped the other day, and it broke the record for most global views in 24 hours of a trailer, with almost 356 million. The previous record holder being Avengers Endgame at 289, which makes that what is that, 64 million higher?
Wow.
66 million higher, quite a bit. I doubt you will see this, Sam, but what I just mean, what do you think about the trailer? I mean, getting so many views. How does it beat something that was such a culmination?
I say this with great pride, actually, because I'm just an absolute
rejecter of cultural significance.
I'm just an angry Luddite like this, but I take pleasure in knowing that I am the literal last person on earth to see this trailer. And because I don't care about Spider-Man at all. But it's weird, you know, because Marvel pumps out, 3 or 4 projects a year that gross hundreds of millions of dollars, and this happens to be the entree of choice for mainstream audiences. They're very excited for this movie for whatever reason. I don't understand why any more than I understand why they would be excited for any other Marvel movie. But it's interesting because it's not, if I understand it correctly, it's any video within 24 hours, right? It's not just movie trailers.
I think so.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of content out there that is highly anticipated. That's not necessarily a movie trailer.
Yep.
There's music videos. There's celebrity announcements.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, I believe you are correct. Any sort of digital video.
Yeah. I know some of the guys I'm living with were very excited about it. They watched it as soon as it came out. It was quite funny. I don't get that excited about movie trailers in general.
I don't really either, to be honest with you.
Because to me, I'm like, that's the studio's working. That's not the artist. That's the studio's cutting things up and trying to make a movie look appealing. You know, that's not an indicator of the full experience. So I don't get too excited about that. But yeah, what do you make of that?
I found it very fascinating that this was the thing that broke it. I didn't realize it was that big. I just I don't know. I was surprised that this was the one out of all the big Avengers movies, that Spider-Man was the one that did it. I found that interesting over even other things too, like you said. And that Batman trailer got a ton of hype. We talked about that, and I don't know. It just surprised me.
Yeah, well, the thing with the Spider-Man franchise is they've rebooted it 3 times in 15 years. So
correct.
I don't know if you call it a reboot because it's but that's in that universe, and there's different universi, and it's
the multiverse, bro.
It's a multiverse, so really it's not a reboot, it's not a recast, it's just a different Spider-Man, a different universe. It's like, yeah, okay, whatever.
You're checked out.
Um,
Well, hey man, I know what you do care about. Shape of Water. Should we get into it?
Oh my God. I care about it because I hate it. Yeah, let's get into it.
You may think that thing looks human. Stands on two legs, right? But we're created in the Lord's image. You don't think that's what the Lord looks like, do you?
This creature is intelligent, capable of language, of understanding emotions.
The Shape of Water, the 2018 Best Picture winner. Sam, we got a lot to talk about here.
Yeah, we do.
Give me your general thoughts on The Shape of Water. When did you see it? How did you like it?
I saw The Shape of Water probably, 3 years ago or so. And I was disgusted by it. No, I mean, so it grossed $195 million worldwide, and it grossed me out about about that amount. I did not like this movie. I just don't like it. It's the entire aesthetic is off-putting. The characters are at best mediocre, at worst horribly written. It makes no sense. It's borderline bestialic. It's it's just a bizarre movie that
that
really
won 4 Oscars. Yep.
That won 4 Oscars, but the Academy was on crack that year. And look, this is what I would say about Shape of Water, right? Like, if the themes of the film were, something unique and really pushing the boundaries of what we understand philosophically and culturally, then I would be able to look past the weirdness that this movie is. But it's telling these really basic themes of social acceptance and peace, not war. It's telling these themes in the most bizarre, convoluted, disgusting way that I just can't. I struggle to see merits in this particular film. It is my least favorite Best Picture winner, easily.
Easily, really,
easily. It's not even really close. Yeah,
Wow.
I hate this movie. What are your initial thoughts, Will?
It's interesting.
Yeah,
we talked about Green Book. I mentioned about a month ago, and I kind of said at the end of that, I recognize Green Book has quite a few flaws, but I still enjoy watching it. Not that it's, I would say, a guilty pleasure, but maybe edging towards that. This movie for me is not at all that. I just really enjoy this movie and think it's good. So it's fascinating to me that you find it so terrible. Yeah, I think this movie is so well shot. I think a lot of the directorial decisions that Del Toro makes really plays into the movie quite well, and that maybe only his aesthetic, visually and writing / dialogue wise would work. I believe a lot of the acting to be great, and I love almost every actor involved in this movie. So it's funny how opposite specters we are with this.
Yeah. I think we've thought about this movie before, and really, it's the thing about it.
And it was aggressive fighting. It was not shouting. It was fists.
No, we just hurt each other.
Yeah.
We both ended up in the ER.
Yeah. Yeah. No, not verbal fighting. No, this was physically. We were put in a ring. No gloves either.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how passionately I hate this movie.
Yeah.
I was willing to fight Will Spalding over it. And but again, it's a question of, is it a bad movie? I mean, not necessarily bad in the sense of like there's competency behind it. It's that it's just such a dislikable movie. I just dislike it.
Okay.
There's so many problems. It's like at every single turn while I'm watching this film, either when I'm expecting something unexpected, right? The most expected thing happens, the most cliche moment.
Okay.
And then in the moments where I'm like, oh, this should happen for logical flow of the story, it's just like, boom, out of left field, most unexpected thing happens. It's like they were just actively going against all of my expectations for the film. And it's like Guillermo del Toro was in my head and he was like, okay, let me make a movie that Sam Dierberger will hate. What do we start with?
So is it a writing issue for you? Or
yes.
Okay.
Also, I just don't like the look of the film.
Oh, okay. All right.
Even though the look is probably purposefully done, it might be achieving the feeling that Del Toro is looking for, but I don't like that feeling, and I don't think it's very fulfilling. I don't think it serves much of a purpose, but that's just me.
Interesting. Okay.
But help me out here, because like, where do we start with this, right?
Yeah, let's kind of divvy up this review. We'll talk about maybe the Oscars a little bit at the end, and we'll just do maybe a shorter review, so we can split up its Oscar run plus the movie itself. Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let's talk about some performances to begin with, because I know you hate one performance specifically, but before we get to that one, how do you feel about Sally Hawkins in this movie? Because I think a lot of this movie rides on her shoulders and that performance, because it is such an interesting and difficult performance to pull off, one that not everyone would be able to do. And I think she's brilliant. But what do you think about Sally Hawkins?
I mean, my problem with Sally Hawkins in this movie, just like every character in this movie, is not that she does a bad job. It's that her character is boring and horribly written, in my opinion. Okay. I'm using harsh words to be entertaining here.
These are all opinions.
These are all opinions. I don't hate Sally Hawkins as a person. I'm sure she's lovely, but also she's terrible at choosing roles. I'm just kidding. Really, I have a problem. Here's what it comes down to. So what's her name? Elisa?
I think it's Eliza.
Eliza. My problem with Eliza as a character is that while she is disabled, that is her central characteristic.
Yeah,
it is her central characteristic in the story. It's that
I would argue that she's alone and is not accepted.
But that's not delving into her as a person, right? It's that she's not accepted for her disability, but we don't ever see the side of her where it's like we don't see the other side of the coin, which is how do I respond to that? It's difficult to explain, but it's like she's a disabled person. She lives a solitude, a solitary life. It's very routine. She goes into work. She cleans at a government lab, and it's just she just goes to work every day, comes back pretty lonesome. But that's all we see of her. We don't delve into her as a character. She has such a fascinating perspective. I just don't care about her as a person. And maybe I'm not making too much sense, but
no, I understand what you're saying. I understand.
And she, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you want the main character, Sally Hawkins' character, Eliza.
Yes.
You're saying she's kind of flat.
Yes.
That may be true. You might be right. If we watched this character for 5 years do this, I think you're right. It would probably be boring. But for 2 hours, I don't mind it. And I do think, yes, she's probably is a flat character, but I also think she develops into something more upon meeting. I don't even does the Beast have a name, or am I? Upon meeting,
according to the cast list, he's known as the Amphibian Man.
Okay, well, upon meeting the Amphibian Man, I think she changes. I think she develops and becomes an interesting character through this relationship with this Amphibian Man. But I do understand what you are saying as well.
It's she's flat, right? She we don't see many dimensions to her. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
We don't see the piece of her. We don't even really see her flaws. We only see the flaws that society has arbitrarily decided are flaws. The fact that she's mute. But we don't see her as a person. We don't see her feeling inadequate on her own terms. We see her feeling inadequate because society says she's inadequate. We only see her contrasted against her culture. And that's frustrating to me because that's only half of a character. Anyway. So she works as a cleaner at this secret government lab. And she's got this next door neighbor who is a closeted gay man who also works as a kind of like a cartoonist, a illustrator for advertisements. And I will say Richard Jenkins as Giles.
Great character actor Richard Jenkins is.
Richard Jenkins is probably one of the finest character actors to ever live. I mean, just consistent performances throughout. He is a bright spot in this movie. I'm a fan, certainly. Yeah.
Let's.
So I don't hate that.
Let's get the elephant out of the room here, Sam. Michael Shannon. Michael Shannon, one of my favorite actors of all time. I think he's brilliant in everything he does. I think he's good in this. His character is easily the worst written character of the bunch. I still think he is good, and you will never change my mind that he's not good in everything he is in. So,
I never criticized his performance. Never once did I criticize his performance in The Shape of Water. I criticized his character because his character is garbage. It's like, it's awful. It's the he's like the most sadistic
he's a terrible person. Yeah.
Just black and white character in every aspect of his life, right? There's no nuance to it. He hates people for inexplicable reasons. It's the most like unblemished look at prejudice I've ever seen. He's just prejudiced against everyone, and he's violent, and he loves war, and it's just archetypal and boring and embarrassing to watch. And I'm ashamed that a great actor like Michael Shannon decided to take that role, because any young starving actor could have taken this role and done it the same.
Yeah.
It's not hard to pull off.
Yeah, I will agree. If I do have one complaint in this movie, it's that he is the villain. Obviously, it's that the villain is not even not great. It's not very good. His motivations are simply because that's his motivation. So agreed. Villain is a weak point. So we can agree on that, and we'll move on from there. I do want to ask you, Sam, how does the plotting / love story work? We'll just keep kind of going segment by segment here. This is kind of flowing nice.
The plotting, the development of the relationship between Eliza and the amphibian man. I actually remember watching this movie initially and not knowing that, these two, well, obviously I had an idea that these two would become romantically involved. I was not aware that I would be subjected to a good amount of runtime devoted to sex with fishmen.
Sex. Yeah.
This movie should be called Grinding Nemo, as we're aware. And this is one of my main problems with not just Shape of Water, but all sorts of movies. And maybe this is me being prudish or whatever, because as a general rule, I'm not opposed to sex in movies within the right context. But the problem with this movie and with many other movies is that when you're trying to display a romantic relationship on the screen, oftentimes it is a strategy of the filmmaker, when they can't think of proper dialogue to properly enunciate and get across the feelings of being in love with an individual or a fish, whichever. When they can't do that, their fallback plan is often, let's just do some sex scenes. That is insufficient, in my mind, because anyone can watch and enjoy a good sex scene, unless it's in The Shape of Water.
But Sam, our characters are mute and don't speak English. So how are they supposed to communicate?
That opens up all kinds of possibilities. But the answer certainly cannot be, hey, let's hop in the tub.
Flood the bathroom.
Let's flood that bathroom. Like, you make a good point, sure, but do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
And everyone praises this as, it's so bold, it's breaking the taboos. It's like, no, it's just weird, and you didn't have to do it.
I think they spend enough time together in the lab, even at Eliza's home before the sex scene, to where we know that they are connected before this scene happens, to where that serves as our dialogue, so we know what they're feeling. I think they spend enough time.
I don't know about that.
And we see scenes of Eliza talking to Octavia Spencer's character, where she's using sign language, and I think even Michael Stuhlbarg's character, another great actor.
Oh yeah, it pains me that he's in this one too. Phenomenal actor.
She's talking to both of them at points, saying, you know, that this man, or this amphibian man, seems to understand her, and she understands him. So I think there's enough there that we understand what they are both feeling.
Yeah, I suppose so, but it's not a matter of figuring out what they're feeling. It's feeling what they're feeling.
That is true.
We don't
know.
That is what a movie is supposed to be. I guess. Okay, so bottom tier movies. There are worse movies than The Shape of Water. I will say that. Bottom tier movies tell, they don't show.
We always say that. We always say, show me, don't tell me. That's a big
yes
big thing.
Middle tier movies like The Shape of Water, they show instead of telling. But high caliber movies make you just feel it, and then they don't have to tell you or show you. You just feel it. That's what makes a great film. And The Shape of Water is not a great film. It's not even close to a great film, but it's stuck in that middle tier, right? It's all showing, too much showing. I see too much. Listen, I think I'm a pretty forward-thinking guy, but called me old-fashioned, but I just don't support sex with fishmen. I think that's sort of strange. But like, yeah. Anyway, it's just so abrupt for me. It's bizarre. Maybe I need to rewatch this movie. Maybe I really do. Although I really don't want to.
This Samuel, to rewatch this one, somebody's gonna have to be like, "Yo, I'm watching Shape of Water." And do you want to come over? And Sam's gonna be like, I'd rather do anything else. But you're like, okay. That's the only way I know you're gonna rewatch this.
Not doing anything.
What else? Let's get into the ending, and then we can discuss how well it did at the Oscars. We kind of come to a T where we're breaking out the amphibious man and bringing him to the ocean. It comes to a head at a what is it? Some sort of port or dock or something. And we have Michael Shannon's character. Long story short, he ends up killing, we think, Eliza, Sally Hawkins' character, but she falls into the water with the amphibious man, and she ends up being okay, and develops gills.
Of course.
I do remember cringing a little bit at that part. What do you think of this ending, Sam? For the most part, other than the gills, I really do like this ending.
Really? You like that she too transforms into a fish?
No, I said beside the gills.
But that's like the point of the movie. Like,
I think the point of the ending is that they're together. They can be together.
It doesn't even it doesn't even end in tragedy.
Not everything has to be a tragedy, bruh.
No, it doesn't. But I'm saying, like, okay, so we have this Deus Ex Machina. Like, she just becomes a fish woman so she can live with her fish man underwater.
Yep. And I agree with you. The total.
That is literally the entire ending. That is the ending. So, like, what do you not take issue with? What part of the ending do you enjoy?
I enjoy how they got to the Deus Ex Machina. I do not enjoy the Deus Ex Machina, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that last sequence is all right? Like when very, very evil Michael Shannon is chasing them down, and they jump into the water, and it's whatever. The movie got exciting finally. But like for me, what is this movie saying? What is the theme of this movie?
The theme of this movie, I would say, Sam, is you said it. You said it. It has some basic themes, acceptance. I would also say it has a little bit of you just have to do your own thing. You have to go out on a limb and trust and do your own thing. And it kind of says everything will work out, which right, wrong, or otherwise, it says that a little bit. So I think it works.
Okay. I don't know what this movie is saying other than, even if you feel hopelessly alone, because we are all as human beings, yes, we are all as human beings in some capacity broken and inadequate. There is someone out there for you. And even if he's a fish monster who has been captured and in captivity by the U.S. government, you will find a way to be with your fish monster.
Correct. I like the idea that the fish monster is Grendel from Beowulf.
Ooh,
that's just my theory.
It's a retelling of Beowulf.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It is. It's a prequel.
It's a prequel to Beowulf. Oh, that's incredible.
Grendel gets real angry when those gills don't hold up for more than 24 hours, and then he comes back to the surface. So that's what happened.
Yes. But seriously, like the movie ends and I'm like, what was the point of that? Why did they subject me to that? Because there's movies that are weird, right? I've seen Charlie Kaufman movies. Like the movies are weird, but at least they make you think.
Yeah.
This movie, I'm subjected to all this weirdness, all this fish sex and mute people. and then it ends and I'm like, oh, is that all it was about? That you should pursue whoever you love, no matter the cost.
Yeah, that's it.
It's just been told so many times and in such better ways that I just can't connect to this movie. It's one of those things,
I can relate, but I don't know for this movie, Sam. I enjoy the heck out of this movie.
I know you do.
So, Sam, I'm gonna list. It was nominated for 13 Academy Awards. It won 4 of them. You already know which one or one of them. I want you to guess the other 3. So it won picture, and I'll list the other 12, and I'll have you predict which 3 it was. So actress, sound editing, original screenplay, original score, supporting actress, cinematography, costume design, production design, supporting actor, best sound mixing, film editing, and director. Which other 3?
It has to be director.
Yep, correct.
Original screenplay.
It did not win that.
No.
There's a lot in there. You want me to just tell you the others?
I'd say cinematography, probably.
It did not win cinematography.
Production design?
Correct. Yep, it won production design.
And I don't know, costume design, maybe.
Score. One score too.
Oh, so, I knew that. Oh my God.
Which one, Sam, of picture, score, production design, director is most deserving to you?
Production design is pretty good.
Okay, cool. I made Sam say a good thing.
It's very rare. We're all allowed like our to have movies that we absolutely despise,
Oh, absolutely.
I don't absolutely despise movies like this very often. And most of the time I'm just apathetic about movies. But man, I don't like this movie at all.
My next question for you, Sam, would you have nominated this movie for anything?
In the Academy or for the Razzies?
That was good. I like it. That was a good one.
No, the cinematography is really good, actually.
Okay.
I don't like the look of it, but it's effectively done.
All right. Interesting. There we go. So yeah, 4 wins, 9 other nominations. I mean, that's about as good as you can do. 13 nominations is about as good as you can do. 4 wins. Could have been better, but still very, very solid. And 2 of the big 5. So it performed extremely well at the Oscars. Some of the other movies it was up against, Sam. Well, I'll just list all the Best Picture nominees. So we have Shape of Water winning. We have Darkest Hour.
Yep.
Dunkirk. Phantom
Yep.
Thread.
Yep.
3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Yep.
Get Out.
Yep.
The Post.
Mhm.
Call Me by Your Name.
Yep.
And Lady Bird.
All superior movies. All of them. All.
What would you have picked to win?
God, I mean, probably Lady Bird, just out of personal preference, but
Absolutely. Lady Bird.
like Darkest Hour, phenomenal. Dunkirk, phenomenal. Like that was a really, really good year. Even Get Out, phenomenal. Like all of them, great movies. And we went with that one. Like,
oh gosh. So I have Shape of Water at number 6 on my ranking. So I agree. I would have chosen 5 others over it.
which ones?
So I have Lady Bird, Call Me by Your Name, Get Out, 3 Billboards, Dunkirk. That's 1 through 5.
Yep.
Darkest Hour, just slightly less than this one. Phantom Thread, The Post. I hate The Post. That's a bad movie. So yeah, number 6. I would have chosen some different movies in there too.
Yeah.
I'm not offended by the choice because I do like this movie. But I think there would have been bolder choices. I think 3 Billboards would have been a very interesting choice.
Yeah.
Phantom Thread certainly would have been, but that movie just had no chance. That movie would have never won. Get Out as well. So there could have been some more interesting choices than this one, but I am not offended by the Academy's decision. What would be near the top for you? Maybe the top 3. And then we can kind of hit a grade and get out of here after some recommendations.
I mean, Lady Bird.
Okay, Lady Bird 1. All right.
Darkest Hour, I really, really enjoyed.
Okay.
Dunkirk is less of a film and more of an experience, but a great experience nonetheless. But then also, I think Get Out is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And Call Me by Your Name is also great. So, what a good year. It was a really
2017, man, is a fantastic year for movies. We did a 2019 retrospective a long time ago, and I remember thinking like these 2 are the shining spots in the past decade. So
definitely.
But hey, let's get into a grade or a star rating, I should say, for The Shape of Water.
Yeah. I'll go ahead. 1 star out of 5. I will put it slightly below. This is just, it's one of those ratings that I'm very personally invested in because I hate this movie. But
real quick, Sam,
it's probably not an accurate reflection. I really, honestly, I know we just spent an hour talking about this movie, but honestly, I should not be giving an opinion on it because I'm not an objective voice. It's almost like Guillermo del Toro, like slept with my wife or something. Like it's just this bizarre hatred I have for this movie that really is probably unwarranted, but Yeah, I'm not a good source.
Real quick, Sam, before I give my grade, I love your review for this so much because I find it funny.
Yes.
This is Sam Dierberger's review. Sam, if you pull it up real quick,
we need to remember what I wrote. Oh no.
Pull it up real quick. Go to. You know how to pull up your reviews?
Yeah, I think I gotta edit your review. Oh, here it is.
All right, Sam. I'll play Del Toro. You play the Hollywood executive.
Okay. Oh, I see it. All right.
So Sam wrote this in his review. It's a dialogue exchange between Guillermo del Toro and a Hollywood executive. So it starts with Guillermo del Toro saying, "It's a love story."
Okay. Sounds like a solid start.
About a mute woman and a fish man.
Okay.
So obviously it's commenting on socially unacceptable love.
Sure.
And there's a sex scene between the two to ensure that you understand that they really love each other.
It seems excessive.
Because it's not real love unless you have sex.
This is uncomfortable.
Also, there's a gay guy, just in case you're homophobic.
Mine never said I was.
And we're going to have the antagonist be a warmongering military official who's also a rapist and hates the environment, just in case you weren't confused enough about this thing.
Well, it sounds like a Best Picture winner to me.
That's fantastic. I don't agree with your opinions on this film, Sam, but that is one funny review.
I can't believe when was this? This was a while ago.
Early 2019.
Wow. Yeah, I actually went back. Like, I hadn't immediately seen this movie. It was just that, wow, I actually went back and wrote a review about it. That's how passionately I hate this movie. So, wow.
So one star for Sam. I'm gonna add a 3 to that. We can average at 2.5. I'm gonna go 4 stars here, man. This is
wow. All right.
This is a good one for me. I do enjoy this movie quite a bit, quite a great deal.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, and with that being said, Sam, should we get into some recommendations for the week?
Yeah, let's do some recommendations. Why don't you go first? You better go first.
So I watched a movie from one of my favorite directors last night, a movie called Flipped by Rob Reiner, and I will not be recommending Flipped, although it is a solid movie made by an extremely great director. I will be recommending actually a lot of films is to what I believe is the single greatest run by any director of all time. So 6 movies, but don't check them all out. Just pick 1 or 2 maybe and see those ones. But from 1984 to 1992, Rob Reiner made 6 movies, and they went in order as This Is Spinal Tap, Stand By Me, The Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, Misery, and A Few Good Men.
Wow.
A great run. Some of my favorites of all time. I'm going to recommend those 6 right there. So you just go to his filmography and you'll see them all. It's pretty impressive that he made essentially 6 all-timers. I mean, 6 that people still recommend to other people consistently within an 8-year stretch. It blows my mind. So that'll be my recommend for the week.
Wow. Yeah, that is quite an astonishing run when you think about it. I was thinking about Richard Jenkins and all the great movies he's in. There's one he's in quite a few Coen Brothers movies because he's a smart actor who usually takes good roles. And there's just I don't know if we've recommended this before, but there's a phenomenal underrated Coen Brothers movie called Burn After Reading.
Good choice, man.
Which we both love, of course. It's got this crazy ensemble cast with like everyone in Hollywood, and they all play sort of idiots. Like Brad Pitt really breaks from his usual protagonist mold and plays like just this idiotic gym rat. And it's just it's in the Coen Brothers signature style, but it's probably their only film where it's not a period piece. It's actually set pretty much at the time that it was made.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's so much fun. It's so funny. Check out Burn After Reading.
Yeah, for anyone who says Brad Pitt can't act, I'd point him right to this movie. Because
It's actually a very committed performance.
Yeah, he's awesomely hilarious, and it's kind of interesting that this movie is like a situational comedy. It's basically just a lack of communication the entire movie from dumb people. So it's awesome. It's so funny, and yeah, great recommendation there.
Yeah, actually, Malkovich is the best part of this movie for me, and that's saying a lot. He's so good. So yeah, check it out.
I love Simmons as the CIA.
Oh, that one's so good too.
Yeah,
he's perfect.
That's awesome. Well, hey, thank you everyone for being here. Sam, where can I find you if I were curious on Letterboxd?
Oh, if you were curious, I mean, you can find.
Or I can read your reviews.
You can read my fictionalized scripts between directors and Hollywood executives. You can find me on letterboxd.com/sjdierberger. Where can I find you, Will Spalding?
At the same place, except at Will Spalding. And you can find us at anchor.fm/thosefilmnerds and thosefilmnerds.weebly.com and thosefilmnerds at Gmails and all sorts of podcast platforms and YouTubes and so on and so forth.
Oh, yeah.
And Sam, with that being said, until we watch Candyman next week.
Yes. Very excited. Keep watching movies, everyone. Have a great week.